What is going on, boys and girls of YouTube? It's a new season. I haven't done these for a while because last season sucked. Not much was changing. The game was pretty stale. We're gonna be really adamant about staying up to date with this stuff. That's why Smite source is fully updated, and I'm adding extra builds like the weird solo lane gods or your weird supports. I'm adding as much as I can to make sure you guys can play that. So I want to keep these top 5 lists up to date. So we're doing top 5 jungles today. We're going to talk about the gods, why they're top 5, when, you know, what makes them up there, when you should be playing them, and their builds. We're going to talk about those too. So let's get into it. See what we can come up with, see if this is you know, something that's gonna help you, because I think these videos, as much as having Smite source there just open, are really helpful for you to know what to play and should just kind of make you excel in your game. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed, and like I said, we're jungling today. We're doing a top 5. We'll work our way from number 5 to number 1, and we're gonna talk about it. So number 1 on our list, or sorry, number 5 on our list. 5 would be the worst of the 5 technically, if you want to go that route. Number 5 on our list is Mercury. Mercury has been absolutely killing the game, and when I say killing the game, he's the best farming god in the game by far, especially as a jungler. It's not even close. His clear is insane. He's still using jungle starters and playing well, which is crazy because most of these other gods are spiking because of bluestone, which kind of just says a lot about where he's at, right? And this is number 5 on the list for 2 reasons. If you're a lower level player, I'd say plat or below, Fenrir probably takes this number 5 spot. Fenrir? Did I say Fenrir? Fenrir probably takes this number 5 spot. Not Fafnir, Fenrir. Because Fenrir is very W key, just jump on somebody, press 3, they die. Mercury has a little higher mechanical skill to it. Positioning is a little bit more important. And you kind of have need to have the confidence to play that, which happens as you progress through ranked. So Mercury, build. We'll do Fenrir build right after. Mercury build is still Eye of the Jungle. You're building that Eye of the Jungle into either Seer or Protector. Seer if you're fighting over objectives like Fire Giant a lot. Protector if you're just fighting a lot. So Protector, we're going right into that Golden Blade. We are then going into our crit item, which is going to be our Rage. Very strong item in current state of Smite. At this point, I like to go into Serrated. It's going to give you even more movement speed on top of speed buff, on top of Golden Blade. It's just going to stack up and make you kind of nuts. Then I like to go into my Deathbringer. I would usually upgrade this Deathbringer into the Envenom Deathbringer, so your 1v1s are a little bit stronger and you can stick to your target that much better because this slows and also makes them do less damage. And then my final item varies. If I need pen, if I'm killing a lot of tanks, a lot of tankier targets, I will go into the Dominance because they buffed the hell out of this item and it's very strong for an auto attack god like Mercury. If I don't need pen and I want more sustain, or I just want more power, I'm going Blood Forge here. It's going to give you movement speed, which is going to make you do more damage. It's got really high power on it. It's got lifesteal, it's got a proc. So when you full commit and kill somebody, you can then disengage very easily out of whatever team fight or fight you're in, or just keep fighting. Once you're here, I do like to sell this Golden Blade. You don't really need it in the hyper late game for either a Magi's Blessing if I'm being CC'd, or if I'm just going for more raw power, then this is where everything can be spicy and fully up to how you want to play the game. You can go Hydras if you're looking for one-shot potential. It'll give you a little bit more percent pen. You can go Erendite if you're looking for that extra movement and that extra big hit out of your ultimate. Or, like I said, you can go Magi's. Or if you need raw, you just need more pen for whatever reason, this could fill that dominant slot as well. If you're looking for more pen later in the game because maybe they changed up their builds, maybe you messed up your build. So any of those items all fill this slot really well. So kind of just to put it in perspective, Hydras if you're going for a one-shot, Dominance if you're just trying to kill more tanks, Magi's if you are trying to survive. If I could find the Magi's Blessing, I am blind. Here we go. And then realistically, this should be more than enough. If somehow you're not critting with a 75% chance to crit, this item can also turn into one of the crit items. Demon Blade ideally is going to be the better item for you just to kill somebody, but Bladed Boomerang is kind of a fun item too, so either one. So these would be the 4 Golden Blade swapping items that you could look for. So that's that. Fenrir is the other number 5 god, but if you're at a lower level of play, building on the, and why Fenrir is good, we talked about it. You're pretty much just W king and your abilities are hard to miss. You have your jump stun, you've got really hard hitting autos now with the attack speed on your 2 plus the sustain, and then your 3 got even more protections. And it's always been a simple god, so he's always excelled at lower ranks, just in general. So you're going Bluestone into Bluestone Brooch on Fenrir. It is an ability god. He has 3 damaging abilities and then an auto attack ability. It all works out. You're going into Jotun's Wrath. From here, it can go a couple ways. I still like to go Hydras. This can also be Erendite if you aren't feeling the Hydras. It's fully up to you and how you want to play the match. If you do go Hydras, it opens you up to more pen items. You can get max pen very, very easily out of a serrated edge and then out of a Heartseeker. If I can find the Heartseeker, I've been struggling. So this would be your full pen at this stage, and then your final item could be the crush, or sorry, you wouldn't want to go the crusher. I'm trolling. If you go Hydras, it makes getting, I mixed it up. It makes getting full pen very strange, because here is where you would want to get that crusher online to match that attack speed with your build you already have and to get percent pen. Then you're going to go to the Heartseeker usually. So this is going to put you at 30%, which is fine. You don't need to have max pen all the time, but this type of build will kind of just get you where you need to be. This final item is kind of like your up in the air item, whatever you want to go. You can max out cooldown with the Erendite or just wait to get red pot. You can max out into a Blood Forge to have that extra proc after you secure the kill on somebody. This could be the Magi's Blessing. So it's basically like Mercury, except for it's your last slot. It's not selling Golden Blade. It's truly that last slot can be whatever you need it to be. So out of all those items, whatever works best for you, this core set of items will kill anybody. Now, if you're going the Erendite early build, let's say we go back to here, and you want to go into an early Erendite at this stage in the game, which is perfectly fine. It's really strong with Fenrir. This, I would definitely just be committing to a full damage build. I wouldn't be swapping around anything because you're going to be getting pen late at this stage. I'd probably go into my Crusher first and just change up the order so you get that proc from Crusher online a little bit earlier. Then I would go into my Hydras if I wanted to, or if I was looking for the full pen build, I would go into Serrated. This will put us at 30%, and then I would go into my Heartseeker. So this would be a no Hydras build. If you were going to throw Hydras in this build, I would replace Serrated Edge with the Hydras. So there's Fenrir, number 5 on the list. We've got so many gods that are just good right now. So many good gods. So number 4 on the list, which really isn't saying this is a bad god by any means, and this might change at your skill level, because most of these gods are about positioning, and your true like mechanical skill on them is Sett. A lot of people struggle at Sett. I'd probably put Sett a little bit higher overall if more people didn't struggle with Sett, but because at lower levels, you know, your gold brackets, Sett players might not be as good. It's a little bit different. So with Sett in the jungle, very similar to pretty much all of the junglers right now. You're going into the Bluestone Brooch. I don't know why I just double clicked on that. You are building into the Bluestone Brooch. Same as everybody. I do not like going into Transcendence in the jungle that much, so I go to Jotun's. I think getting the Lifesteal Soul Eater is massive for Sett in these situations. And then I think getting even more cooldown and getting your Hydras, this will be your core build. If you don't want the Soul Eater, you don't want to place it around Sustain, that's fine. Build Hydras here, build Crusher here. Always going to be your choice. Most of these builds that I go when I'm playing in competitive matches have 30% pen. I go this build, and it, like I said, it's pretty much the same on everybody. You get a really immense amount of power. You have Bluestone Brooch proc from your abilities. You have Heartseeker proc from your abilities. You have Crusher proc from your abilities. So you get extra like 500 to 600 damage on your abilities, on each ability that you use because of these items. It's really, really stupid. You still get the Hydras proc, and you still have the sustain early in this build, which makes it very, very valuable and strong and just easy to play. Sett is killing it. Why is Sett killing it? Group fighting is happening a lot. There is a lot of damage. These gods are all high damage gods with lower amounts of CC. So they are really scaling well off of that flat pen you're getting from the assassin passive. If you guys still don't know about it, every class got a new passive. Assassins get 5 flat pen plus a little bit more per level up until they have 10 flat pen. So that extra damage gets you closer to true damage. It makes gods like Sett and these just raw damage dealers able to do enough damage to make up for their lack of CC. That's why Sett's number 4 on the list. Number 3 on the list, I don't think should be shocking. I think most of you are probably experiencing this, and it's our one non-assassin. It's Ao Kuang. Ao Kuang murdering the meta. Mages, their passive was extra magic power early. I think it's 20 and then plus more per level, up to 40 if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but it's something along those lines. The Quang build, you have 2 options. You have the hybrid like auto attack and ability build, or you go full ability build. I'll show you both. Both are viable. I don't like going jungle starters on the mage build, but the Eye of the Jungle is very good on the auto attack build. So you're going to go Eye of the Jungle. That's going to be whatever you want, whether it's Protector or Seer. Both are good. Completely up to you. Then I usually like to go into the Bancrofts in this situation, and I like to go into my glyph. Yeah, there we go. The Nimbles to get more attack speed. It's going to put you pretty close, like up there, not at cap, but really close to cap with this build. Then we're going to go into Telkines. Then we're going to go into Cyclopean. The problem with this, if you go Cyclopean here, is you're low on pen. So if you're doing this build, you need to be ahead to do this build. Most of the time you are ahead on Quen because it's easy to get free kills with your execute. If for some reason you're not, swap this up, get Spear of the Magus here, then get your Cyclopean ring. Then you can round out with more pen. It can be Typhon's Fang. If they're heavy stacking anti-heal, so you have 1, 2, 3 lifesteal items, you probably don't want to commit to a 4th one. This can be Karin's Coin. If they're heavy stacking anti-heal. If they're not, the Typhons will let you solo any objective except for fire. It'll allow you full heal off of a camp out of a team fight. It's a really good reset mechanic, and these items just pump damage. Okay. So this is kind of my auto attack hybrid build. It allows you to sit in someone's face and auto attack them down. Now, do a quick reset. I think a mage build might be more consistent, which is weird, but mages are doing so much damage in the late game that it's crazy. It's actually insane. So I like to go Pendulum of the Ages because it gives you cooldown, which you wouldn't normally have in these builds a lot of the time. I then go into Book of Thoth. Like I said, you're looking at a raw mage build. You're going into a Divine Ruin if I can find the item. You're going into the Soul Gem to give you another proc of damage. You are then going into the Karn's Coin, and then you are going into the Soul Reaver. With this build, you get the crazy procs from Soul Gem, Soul Reaver, and Divine Ruin, the triple procs, same as the Assassin builds, which have triple procs of extra damage. And then you have good cooldown because you end up with 20% plus a red pot, you end up with 30%. You have really high power, and you have the capability of one-shotting somebody off of a combo. If for some reason you're not feeling the Soul Gem, this can be a poly, but really both the items are interchangeable and they have different playstyles. Soul Gem is going to allow you to spam a little bit more on your abilities. Poly is going to give you an insta proc of a big auto attack. I don't think you need poly on the Queen build, so either build works for you. That was number 3 on our list. Now we're working our way back to Assassins. We're at number 2. I will have a couple gods to talk about after this that did not make my top 5 that are definitely very good. So number 2 on the list is Susano. This is a god where if you don't know how to auto attack cancel, it's so good right now you can play it. I wouldn't recommend it. Auto attack canceling pretty much doubles your damage. But Susano is absolutely crazy right now. It's because of his knockups in his kit. He's got his pool, which is essentially his knockup on his 2, and then he's got his team fight ultimate that's not usually is going to knock out multiple people in these corridors. He's excelling because of the corridor spacing. He's excelling because of the mass damage he can do, and he's excelling because of just his movement and his raw ability to kind of control team fights while also pumping out an insane amount of damage. These builds are no different. Bluestone Brooch into your Jotun's Wrath, which I usually go into a Jotun's Vigor because I like the lifesteal and the movement when you get low. Then I'm going to Hydras every time because, as I said, auto attack canceling is very key here. I like to go into the Crusher. I like to go into the Heartseeker. And then I like to go into whatever item I need. If I need that Magi's, I'm grabbing that Magi's. If I want a reset, I'm going to Bloodforge. If I want if I want anti-heal, I'm going Brawlers. Okay, so this is that slot. This can shift the build over though. Realize that. This slot is technically here as well. So you get Jotuns online, you're like, I need anti-heal, build Brawlers here. If you you're at this slot or this slot, you're like, I'm dying a lot, I need to have more CC immunity because my beats aren't always up, get a Magi's here or here. That's perfectly fine. You're not going to mess up your build as long as your build order is somewhere along these lines where you just throw in an item here or here. Okay, that extra item can fill these slots on every assassin. You're not going to be doing anything wrong. Please, if they have healing, make sure you're building brawlers. It will make your team win the game by having the one item that you're probably thinking isn't valuable, but is very valuable. So Susano, number 2 on our list. Like I said, controlling team fights, massive team fight ultimate. He does well in these corridors. The amount of damage he's pumping out is kind of unmatched with the Bluestone Brooch. You're seeing Susano played in ADC and solo as well, and even in mid. It's crazy. It's really crazy to see these gods go from kind of barely played last season or played but not, prioritized to number 1 This next one is like the one that's even scarier. Number 1 on our list, and if this surprises you at all, I don't know what game you've been playing. It's Kleena. Why is Kleena number 1? Kleena can be played as an ADC, a solo, a mid, and a jungler, and all of them are strong. They're not trolling. They are very, very, very good, and it's because Kleena's late game will one-shot you. Kleena can safely get that damage off most of the time by using the walls without being targeted, and it will one-shot you. In the mid and early game, she still pumps out more damage than everyone else because she has 4 damage abilities, all of which can proc that Bluestone or the Bluestone Brooch. She's got range because of her ultimate, so she can clear a wave from super safe as in ADC, a mid, whatever. I wouldn't say she's the best ADC or the best mid or the best solo. She is the best jungler by far. And her movement in team fights, she has the blind / invis proc from her 2, which gives her movement speed. She has a silence and a knock immunity on her 1, and then she's got the long dash out of her 3, plus the wall play on her passive. That's what makes her so good. But why is she so good now? She's so good now because of the damage numbers she has and the scaling she has, paired with that pen you get from the passive, that she outmatches and outpaces people with CC, which has never been the case in Smite. It's very, very rare. There's a lot of things that led to this, but that's where we're at. So we're going into the Bluestone Brooch once again. We're going into Jotun's Vigor once again. We're going into, I want to say, an optional slot. I like to go into either Soul Eater or Hydra's here. Soul Eater if you're playing around getting poked a lot. Hydra's if you're planning on full committing to these team fights. I really like the Hydra's. The Hydra's is sick to be able to turn in fights and full commit to fights. So a lot of time you'll see me go Hydra's Lament here. I do also like full damage builds in these areas. So an item like a Blood Forage to give you reset potential, movement speed, and auto attack lifesteal is sick. This is one of my more favorite. Like, this build is fun because of what it does and how much damage you have. So you'll see me building this a lot. We go into the Crusher here, and we go into our Heartseeker as our last item. 30% pen, 30% cooldown, 40% with red pot. Lifesteal, a shield proc when you kill somebody, and you should be killing somebody. Blood Forage this season is more valuable than ever because they lowered the price, they upped the movement speed on it over the course of a couple patches, and then now we're actually killing people fast enough that we get that last hit and we get that Blood Forge proc. So this build will make you unstoppable. And when I play into a side lane, like an ADC or a mid, a lot of the time the build changes a good amount, but this build as a jungler, you don't need to be stacking Transcendence as a jungler. You don't need to be committing to full CDR rush right away. You don't have to have Soul Eater as a jungler either. It's just unnecessary a lot of the time because the amount of lifesteal you get from it is valuable, but it's more valuable over an extended time rather than just you going up and hitting a camp or something like that. So this is my favorite build on Kleena. Kleena is by far the #1 jungler. You should get comfortable with her because it seems like even with the Bluestone nerf today, or I guess on Tuesday, whenever this goes live, that it doesn't matter. You're still able to get in the jungle. It's crazy. Now, those are our top 5. Shouldn't surprise you at all. I have gods we have to mention because I already know you guys are like, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? Okay. Thanatos is running lobbies right now. Smite Source has the build. Thanatos is running low level lobbies. It's good at high level and it snowballs hard, but it can, it's not as consistent as some of these other gods. These other gods over the course of 10 matches, they're going to have insane games 9 out of 10 games. Thanatos will have insane games 5 out of 10 games, right? Ravana. Ravana is definitely up there. Probably number 5, number 6 on most lists. Maybe someone boosted number 4. He's a god that is very strong with Bluestone, but he's very strong when he matches up well against the people he's playing against, god-wise. So when he's a counter pick, so if there's a dodgy, Ravana does well. Into some gods, he doesn't do well, and a lot of these gods are those gods that we just talked about. He does not do well into Kleena. He does not do well into Sett. You have to literally massively outplay those 2 gods to out damage them. He does not do well into Ao Kuang. It doesn't do horrible, but it's not a great matchup. Ao Kuang's gonna out sustain you 90% of the time, and you're gonna get out killed. Ao Kuang can also outmaneuver Ravana and the ult very, very easily. And then when you get down to your Fenrir and Mercury's, those are going to be more consistent against the other 4 gods of the game, maybe not the enemy's jungler, where Ravana has usually pretty good matchups against the enemy jungler when you're picking him, and then against like the Mage. So that's why. And Ravana, I don't like too much into Ola runs or Soul, because you have to use your 2 perfectly to not die to them, which sucks. Where it's not always the case. Using your 2 perfectly usually gets you free kills. On those cases, it keeps you from dying. So Ravana is definitely like number 6 for me. I do think there are so many good gods though. I think Wheelix is still very good, but I like it more as a later pick into a draft. I think Bastet is playable again because of the high damage with Bluestone. I think Hun Bats is very good. I think Kali is a good late game carry. I think Lancelot is very good to play. I think Serket Crit is back. I think Pele with Bluestone is an unstoppable W key monster. I think Nemesis is playable again. I think Naja is play again. I think Loki is play again. There are a ton. And Thor, all very good. They're not far off from these top 5 slots. It's not like top 5 are here or like up here and then the rest are way down here. They're right here. They're right behind them. So don't freak out. Don't think your god is necessarily bad as a jungler. There's a lot of options and a lot you can play right now. So respect that. Respect where the game is at right now. But those top 5 are way scarier and way more consistent than those other gods that we talked about for a brief second. So hopefully this helps you. Hopefully you guys like the video with the like button. If you do, make sure you subscribe. Then I'll see you in the video tomorrow, the next day, and the next day.